All right. Well, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Sports Medicine Broadcast, episode 31, Not a Nutritionist, for October 3rd, 2012. This week, our special guest is registered dietitian Penny Wilson for the Memorial Hermann Ironman Sports Medicine Institute. I am your host, Jeremy Jackson. With me today is...
Claudia.
Dr. Penny Wilson.
Dr. Wilson.
Monica.
Daisy.
Karen.
And Caitlin.
And then Crystal's taking pictures. We are a couple people down. Doc is out today taking care of some personal issues, so there is a chance that I'll get called away or distracted taking care of athletes because we have fourth period athletics going on. But I trust that the kids can take care of it. Of course, you'll hear the noise coming up. That's football players coming in. So if you're watching live, then the lights are probably about to go off. But it is what it is. So real quick, I got an announcement before. If you're listening live or recorded, you can help support our class by just voting on limeadesforlearning.com. That's a Sonic-supported site where they support donorschoose.org. So if you just vote, 100 or 200 people with the most votes get their project supported. So you can vote, support us on there. So limeadesforlearning.com, and you can search for Jeremy Jackson and then vote once a day, every day. I think it's per email account or per computer, something like that. And then again, if you want to join our conversation, you could try Skype. I don't know if it will work right now, but you could check out todaysmeet.com/sports medicine broadcast. Again, todaysmeet.com/sports medicine broadcast. And Suzette is watching that today. So if you have a question, Suzette will be your voice today on todaysmeet.com/sports medicine broadcast. All right, before we get to the questions, let me introduce Dr. Penny Wilson. She is a registered dietitian from the Ironman Sports Medicine Institute. She's been doing this for about 7 years. Some interesting facts about her. She's completed 5 marathons, which is 26 miles, correct?
26.2.
26.2. And several half marathons. Tell us real quick, what are half marathons?
Marathon is just a 13.1.
And then the short triathlon, what is that? That's what I was wondering. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, the short distance triathlons range anywhere from a couple 100-meter swim up to like an 800-meter swim. Bike can be anywhere from 10 miles to 20 miles, and then it's usually a 3.1-mile run.
All right, so that's a lot of activity. How long does that usually take you?
For me, an hour and a half to 2 hours because I'm slow, but at least I'm out there. And then a couple of weekends ago, I did a half Ironman distance. So that's a 1.2-mile swim, a 56-mile bike, and then a 13.1-mile run.
So a 56-mile bike ride.
Yeah.
I think probably the hardest part is the swim.
The swim was really hard because I didn't grow up swimming, and I hadn't been in open water in a couple of years, much less in a mass start like that. So you start with about 250 other people. So it's been described as a human washing machine, and that's pretty much what it's like, trying to get oriented and figure out where the buoys are and keep swimming. So.
All right. Yeah. Where was that one?
That was in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So was it pretty cold there at this time, or is it still pretty warm?
It was pretty hot. It was still hot. They were expecting a cold front, but it ended up not coming through until overnight, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I guess it's better warm than cold if you're in the water, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and then real quick, you didn't mention on here, you're married. How long have you been married?
Oh, gosh, we've been married, I think, 17 years, but we were together 10 before we got married. We like to be really sure of things.
All right, so I've been married for 17 years, and you have kids, right?
We have 2 dogs.
Yep.
We have doggy kids.
And you were just telling me about you're going to be, or your family is going to be featured on Channel 2?
Channel 13.
Channel 13 for people who travel with their pets.
Yeah, my husband and one of our dogs are going to fly up and back to Dallas tomorrow with a reporter and a camera crew from, I think it's just one camera from Channel 13 to do a story on traveling with your pets. So it should be fun.
All right. So when you see a traveling pet on Channel 13, just know that is Dr. Wilson's husband and first or second child?
Second.
Second child. All right. So I expect this to be a pretty good conversation. This is something that several of the students said they're interested in, nutrition, dietitian, and stuff like that. So we're going to get right to the questions. I'm going to start us off by the title is not a nutritionist. And so why don't you go ahead and tell us the difference between dietitian and nutritionist, if you would.
A dietitian is somebody who has gone to college and gotten a degree in nutrition. Then you also have to go through an internship and you have to get 1,200 hours of supervised practice. So it's similar to a medical internship. It's shorter, but you are somewhere for 1,200 hours. Some of the internships are associated with master's degrees, some of them aren't. And then after you finish your internship, you sit for a nationally certified exam. And at that point, you can call yourself a registered dietitian.
So it's a national.
It is a national accreditation.
Okay.
Right. Some states require licensing, some states don't. Texas does require licensing, so that's why you see LD on the end, and that means licensed dietitian. Any of you guys in this classroom, I can call my dogs nutritionists. There's no, particularly in Texas, there's no requirement about who can call or what can call themselves a nutritionist. So if I wanted to, the dog that's going on the plane tomorrow, his name is Baker. So I could set up a website and come up with all sorts of stuff and call him a nutritionist. And, I could probably get people to pay to get time with him to give them nutrition information. So that's the thing, is you want to be sure that you're getting information from somebody who's got a background in nutrition and really understands what they're doing with it, because nutrition and food really is like medicine. And it's important to know what you're putting in your body, how that can interact with different medications, if you're on medications, how it can help treat disease and keep you healthy. When we're going through college, we actually have to take all the biology classes and all the chemistry up to biochemistry, because we need to understand how the food and the vitamins and the minerals work in all of the metabolic processes in the body. A nutritionist doesn't have that information typically.
All right. So
Can you?
well, hang on. That was a pretty good definition. Did y'all have any questions about the difference? All right. So I know here in Texas, as an athletic trainer, I can be licensed and not certified. I'm still, regulated by the state. Can you be just licensed dietitian, or do you have to be a registered and then licensed?
You pretty much have to be registered and then licensed. If you don't have your registration, if you're not a registered dietitian, I think you can take an exam by the state that allows you to get the LD, but it's a lot easier to have the RD and then get that LD behind you.
Gotcha. So 1,200 hours, college courses.
Undergraduate degree, 1,200 hours supervised practice.
Or you could just call yourself a nutritionist and put out whatever information you want.
Yep.
Can you give us a little background of where you from and how did you get where you are today?
Sure. I actually started out in business. My first degree was management information systems. So I worked in the business world for about 10 or 11 years, and did consulting, traveled all over the country, had a really good time. In 2000, I started training for my first marathon, and I did the Houston Marathon in 2001. And then a friend talked me into doing the Marine Corps Marathon in October of 2001, and I started working with a dietitian at that point. Shortly after that, I decided that I wanted to change careers, and I started thinking about doing something more where I felt like I was helping people. So I ended up getting laid off from my job and went back to school and went through all of the coursework and internship and everything and became a dietitian. That answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I was, like I said, we were a couple men down, and this time we were trying to plan ahead, and I had the kids read over the questions and put their name next to the questions that they wanted to ask, or create questions if they wanted to ask them. And then, like I said, two of our student trainers and doc are out, two of our sports medicine kids. So, plans don't always work out, but so I was trying to adjust for the questions coming up. So, all right. So that being said, I am a 31-year-old athletic trainer. I'm relatively fit. do you think I should be taking any sort? I don't. I really just eat. I don't even eat a well planned diet. I have a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old at home, so sometimes the meals are just whatever's in the refrigerator. Do you think I should be taking a multivitamin, or should I just be trying to eat better and not worry about vitamins?
You try. How active are you,
Uh,
other than chasing after the kids?
I would say I'm pretty active. I work out at least 3 times a week, sometimes more.
Okay. A lot of times, folks who are uh, heavy athletes, heavy training, they, we think, need more vitamins and minerals than just our standard Joe people. So for you as an athletic trainer, you've got a pretty active job. In addition to chasing your kids around and working out too, you may need a multivitamin just to kind of help cover your bases. So if you decide to take one, you could, go get one. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of those big ultra mega super vitamins that you see at the different places. You just need a multivitamin that covers your bases and gets you the RDAs. So you can look at the back of the label and it should say about 100% of just about every vitamin and mineral that's listed. So you can go and get some of the generics at different stores, and those should be okay for you. You don't need to go out and spend a ton of money for your multivitamins. For guys, the first time I did this, my husband, really questioned me about it, but I came home with a silver vitamin for him, which is typically marketed to older people. And the reason I chose that one was because it doesn't have iron, and guys typically don't need as much iron as women do. So, I came home with the old people's vitamin, as he called them. But once I explained to him the reason I chose that one for him, he was okay with it.
All right, so my wife is probably listening. Usually is. So, baby doll, if you go to the grocery store and pick up, a Centrum Silver or something like that, then I won't be too upset. And usually it's for 50-year-old plus kind of thing, but I'll be all right with it because that's on the advice of Dr. Wilson.
There you go.
What is the
Oh,
difference?
I'm sorry. See, I asked this earlier and I didn't even realize questions. See, I set Karen up for failure. That was my fault. That was my fault. She was supposed to ask what is the difference between a dietitian and nutritionist. So
We already covered that.
yeah, that was my fault. It was a little crazy this morning because I was
You're
running
on
around
your
trying to do everybody's
own.
job, and so we'll go ahead and skip to the next one. My bad, Claudia. My bad, Karen.
Oh, what would you recommend for high school athletes?
What vitamins
Like,
would
yeah,
I
what
recommend for the high
vitamins,
school
yeah.
athletes? Again, having something that's just a general multivitamin can help. So you can take the Flintstones, you can take some of the gummy vitamins, and people love gummies. They've started coming out with gummies for adults now too. They're putting everything into gummies. So having just a general multivitamin would be okay for, for high school athletes, for the folks who are juniors, seniors. They may actually be able to go ahead and go into an adult level vitamin. But for freshmen, sophomores, I'd probably go. You can stay with your kitty stuff until you're ready to start taking one of the adult vitamins. And again, just kind of a general one that covers. If you look on the back of the supplement facts panels, be sure that it's at about 100% of your RDA, which is the recommendation for your vitamins and minerals on there. You don't need things that say like 2,000, 3,000%, just 100%, and you should be pretty good.
All right, so you're not too old for Flintstones or gummy vitamins.
That's right. After you start taking some of these too, now as a dietitian, we talk about, what goes in must come out. So I talk body functions a lot. So if you start taking one of these multivitamins, you may notice that your pee turns bright yellow. And that is normal. I know, we talk about this stuff. But that's because what you're doing is you're excreting the excess that your body doesn't need, particularly of your B vitamins. And so that's why it turns yellow.
All right,
Who's next?
Monica.
What are your thoughts on creatine?
Creatine. Yeah. Creatine is a really hot supplement out there, and it's been around for a long time. And creatine is actually one of those supplements that's been shown to work. And so it can work in people who really need it. And what creatine does is there are three energy systems that your body uses in order to allow you to do physical activity. And the first is the creatine phosphate system, the second is the anaerobic, and the third is the aerobic. So that creatine phosphate system uses a molecule that's a creatine molecule put together with a phosphate molecule. So it provides more creatine so that you can have more of that creatine phosphate molecule there to feed into the energy system. That's the thought behind it. So it can help. It's been shown to work, but the thing is some people respond to it and some people don't. So it works for some people it doesn't work for. So if you want to do it, it's something to take to and try it out, see if you notice a difference or not. One of the things that you have to be really concerned with creatine, as well as any supplement that you're going to take, workout supplement that you're going to take, is, is it contaminated? Two things. Does it contain what it says it contains, and is it contaminated? Because a lot of supplement manufacturers will put things in there that aren't listed on the label, but that allow you to perform a heck of a lot better, but can also cause you to test positive because it's a banned substance that they put in there and not put on the label. So if you're going to take something like that, you want to get it from a reputable supplier. And ideally, you want to check and see if it's been tested for purity. And two sites that you can do that is, the first one is NSF for Sport, and the website is nsfsport.com. And I've provided that. Hopefully we'll get those links up. And the second one is Informed Choice. And the NCAA schools use those two websites when they provide supplements to their athletes to choose those. Those are the websites that I also use. I work with the Rockets. I work with the Skeeters as well. And, their paycheck rides on not testing positive. So those are the websites that I use when I'm selecting supplements for them too. So you want to be sure that it's clean, and you can go out and search on those to see what creatine's products have been tested and approved.
All right, so for high school students, I get this question all the time. Jackson, do you think I should take creatine? And one thing I always tell them is, make sure you follow the instructions. So one thing I should probably tell them is check out these websites and make sure it's clear, so that if you get drug tested, you're a better chance of being safe. And then also if you do it, then make sure you follow the instructions.
Exactly. There have been instances. A couple years ago, there was an instance of a high school athlete, a high school football player, who was taking a workout substance or workout supplement called Jacked, and he ended up testing positive, and he lost his NCAA eligibility. He had signed to play football at a D1 school, and he lost it because of a dietary supplement that he took. So it is real, and it does happen. So any supplement that you take, protein powders, whatever, I strongly recommend to people that they, particularly for folks who want to play in college, that they test and be sure that they use products that have been tested for purity. And again, creatine really works for explosive sports. So that creatine phosphate system works for up to 6 seconds, typically 6 to 10 seconds, and then you switch to the anaerobic system. So, if you're out running a marathon, the first time I ran a marathon, I saw people taking creatine before the marathon. I'm like, okay, you're not going to be done in 6 to 10 seconds. You're wasting your money on that. But, if you're doing something really explosive, a quick 100-meter dash, heavy weightlifting, maybe for football, those things that are just really explosive power sports, strength and power sports, then it would, is worth trying potentially. Now, I'd be more apt to use it for people 16 and above. For folks who are under 16, I really try to stay away from as many dietary supplements as we can, because there's typically not research in people under 18 on them.
All right. I think that's fair enough. So basically, I'll just tell the kids, don't take it till you get out of high school.
There you go.
All right. Suzette, there was a question on. You gotta get up close.
Is there a difference between name brand and generic fighting?
Can you?
I think we can hear her.
Yeah.
Is it on?
I'll try again.
Is there a different between name brands and generic vitamins?
The main difference is marketing. The name brands are spending the money to do the marketing versus the generics that don't. You know, I tend to take, before I've been known to take, the Walgreens generic brand because it's been tested for purity and, you know, it's inexpensive. So not really, unless you want to pay for the marketing.
So are multivitamins also on the choose that what the website?
Informed Choice and
Informed
NSF, yes, they do have multivitamins on there.
And those
as
that'll
well.
tell you if they're tested for purity. Like you said, the Walgreens are tested for purity, and I could check that by going on there.
Right. Now, the Walgreens brand, there's a third site that I use a lot, but it's a subscription site, and it's, I just went blank on it, consumerlab.com. And so for a lot of just my regular people and myself, that's the site that I use, and they test for purity as well. The NSF and Informed Choice, they also test for banned substances. So that's why I use those for my athletes.
Gotcha.
So if there's something that somebody needs that's not on NSF or Informed Choice, my next choice is Consumer Lab because they do test for purity. But then I have to spend additional time just double checking the label and triple checking the label to be sure that there's not a banned substance in there.
Because I remember at one of the conferences or workshops, you showed us a label from one of those sites or something, and it had about 20 different, also known as things within the supplement. There was substances that are called 20 different things, so you have to go through and check each of those names, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sugar, which is not a banned substance, has about 100 names that can show up on food labels. So yeah, it's really hard to tell what is and what isn't a banned substance. And part of the problem is the NCAA lists classes. So they say no stimulants. So it's like, okay, you've got to figure out what all is a stimulant. And, dietary supplement manufacturers can basically make up names for some of their ingredients, which just completely makes it almost impossible to check sometimes what's in the product and if it's banned or not.
All right. So, very difficult task.
Give us some guidelines for pre-workout nutrition.
Pre-workout nutrition. One of the most important meals of the day can be your pre-workout meal, or really is your pre-workout meal. And it's something that you have to play around with and see what's going to work on your stomach. When I used to race bicycles out at the velodrome in Katy, and there were some guys who raced for Rice. And when you race on the track, you race 3 races. So you race a race, you come off the track, you wait a little bit, you go out and you race another race. And I remember one night I pulled off the track, came off from my race, and pulled into the area where you store your bikes. And there were 2 guys from Rice eating Taco Bell. And, I had just come off a really hard effort, and it made me want to go to the apron and throw up because just the smell and everything just completely set me off. But they were eating Taco Bell in between their races. So it really depends on the person. But typically what you want to try and get are carbs. A lot of people think they need protein because they want to build big muscles. But carbs are what give you the energy to do the work that you're going to do. So you can have things like oatmeal, toast. You can add some peanut butter if you want, because that will help keep you from getting hungry. But getting something before you go out on the field and work out is a really great thing to do, and see if you notice a difference in how you feel. If you can't do something solid, even doing some sports drink before you go out can help you have the energy that you need to do your workout. So those are some things that kind of work. I'm not recommending Taco Bell, but hey, if it works for you, if you want to try it and it works for you, go for it.
Oh, how long did you race?
How long did I race bicycles? I raced bicycles on the road and the track from, the mid-90s to, probably actually from the early 90s through the late 90s. So for probably about 5 or 6 years.
My brother's race.
Ah, okay. You know all about the velodrome then. I saw you nodding over there. Yep, it's riding the velodrome is an adrenaline rush because man, you can get speed on there that you can't get anywhere else.
So that's like when you see the Olympics, the indoor bike racing thing. That's kind of what you were doing.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
Right, sometimes I ride my bike to work. I live about 4 miles from here, and so I'll ride my bike to and from work, but that's through the neighborhood, and that's I'm not really racing anything. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's great though.
maybe one day I'll have to try it out, do something real fast, get a nice bike. But
There you go. Yeah,
Right.
I actually think today or tomorrow is Walk to School Day, National Walk to School Day. So
all right, so there you go. All of you
I
are
see
walking to
people
school tomorrow.
going, no, no.
My house is like walking. It's an hour away, so that's
So you leave early.
Mine's like 2 hours.
that's it's too dark still.
Get a flashlight. All right, Suzette's got another.
What age should children start vitamins?
What age should children start vitamins? Typically, we use vitamins to fill in if they're not getting enough. So, I typically like to look at somebody's diet before I recommend starting a vitamin. For athletes, that's a little bit different because they tend to have higher needs in general. So we think they have higher vitamin and mineral needs. For kids, honestly, I don't work with kids a lot, with young kids a lot, so I would actually call one of my friends and ask her that question. One of my friends who does work with kids and ask her that question. So I'm going to defer that one. I can call her and check and get back to you on that one.
All right, so in case you were wondering, Dr. Wilson's Twitter is at EAT for performance. So like she was just saying there, it's not kids aren't her forte. It's athletes and performance people. But then again, she's also a registered dietitian, so she knows quite a bit more than the average Joe. So you could follow her on Twitter at Eat for Performance, and you can ask her questions there if you have questions specifically for her, or you think about them later when you're listening to this and we're not live.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Keelan, you got any more questions about racing the track? Did you? I was distracted. Did you say you do that or your brother?
Oh, my brothers did. I used to, but not anymore.
Oh, really? Very interesting. I did not know that about you, Keelan. So,
Give us post-workout nutrition guidelines. What to look for and what to avoid, and time frames.
Post-workout nutrition. If you've been working out about an hour or longer, you need to think about refueling, particularly if you're going to work out again the same day or the next day. A lot of the athletes that I work with, particularly when you're training for a triathlon, you work out 2 to 3 times a day. You get up, work out, have breakfast, go to work. Some people will work out at lunch and some will work out again that night. So we've got a lot of training going on. But even if you're working out the next day, it's good to think about refueling your muscles. Now, my disclaimer here is that I am a spokesperson for chocolate milk. So that comes in when I recommend chocolate milk. But I've been recommending chocolate milk since 2006, and I just became a spokesperson for them this year. But really, what you want to look for is a mix of carbohydrates, protein mainly, and what has been shown to really work and refuel your muscles is 3 to 4 grams of carbohydrates for every gram of protein. What that does is we have what I like to call the gas tanks in our muscles, and those are our glycogen stores. And that's actually a storage form of sugar. So when you're working out, you're using up that gas tank. So by getting that post-workout drink that has 3 to 4 grams of carbs for every gram of protein, it helps refill those gas tanks in your muscles. The protein goes along and it seems to help the carbohydrates get absorbed, and then there's also a little bit there to repair the damage that you've done to your muscles. You also want fluid because we sweat when we work out, right? So you want some fluid to rehydrate you, and then typically some electrolytes as well. And chocolate milk has all of those things. It's a really good recovery drink. A lot of people get really excited when I say you can have chocolate milk after you work out. It's like, they go back to childhood days and they get excited about it. And one of the other things is chocolate milk is cheap. I can go to the grocery store and get a 15 pack of chocolate milk. It's on the juice aisle. It's shelf stable for $12. So it's under $1 a serving. It's really hard to beat that. So you don't really have to go for those engineered drinks that are out there. For people who can't do milk, they can do low-fat chocolate soy milk. But almond milk, rice milk, those things don't really work because they don't have the same amount of protein in them. If you really need to go with an almond milk or rice milk or something like that, you could add a protein powder to it. So to be able to get some of the additional protein in there. Typically, we used to say you wanted to get your recovery drink or meal within 30 to 45 minutes of finishing your workout. And that's not getting home. That is the last step that you take that is your workout. Now research is starting to show that you have up to a couple of hours, but it's also a real personal thing. For me, I need to have it within 30 minutes of finishing or I'm more sore, I don't have as much energy that day, and I just feel worse the next day. Some people can go up to that 2-hour time frame. So it really kind of depends on the person too, but I tend to say as fast as you can get it in, get it in.
All right, so my question is why chocolate milk? Like, why not strawberry milk or, regular plain old milk?
The regular milk doesn't have the sugar, so the flavoring is what adds the sugar to it. The research has been done using chocolate milk, but if you get tired of chocolate milk, you could do strawberry milk, you could do some of the other flavored milks out there because they do have a similar profile of carbs and protein in there, but the research has been done using chocolate milk. So that's why we say chocolate milk.
Now, you might have said this before, but like, what if you use like the Promised Land milk, which is, the really thick chocolate milk versus the, I don't know, like 2% or no fat skim chocolate milk. What's kind of the difference there?
Honestly, I haven't looked at the Promised Land, but is it a whole milk or is it a low fat?
I'm pretty sure because it's thick.
Yeah, if it's really thick, the research has been done on the low fat, and if you're going with something that's a full fat, it's going to take longer for your body to absorb that. So one of the reasons for doing this is so that you can absorb it quickly and it hits your muscles really fast. So that's another reason for going with a lower fat choice rather than a full fat option.
All right, sorry. Like I said, Doc is out, and then, of course, basketball players getting hurt. So tell them just stick it in the cold tub for now, and we'll take care of it in a minute. Okay, so now we gotta see what your thoughts are on a couple different things.
What?
Yeah, so we got some time. I was checking the time, making sure we have time to ask these questions. All right, so I want to see.
What's your thoughts on energy drinks?
And what's right after the energy drinks? What are we going to ask right after the energy drinks? Because these two come together.
Oh, and high school kids drinking coffee.
Coffee.
I love
Energy
coffee.
drinks. Why are you guys drinking energy drinks and coffee? Why do high school students and just people in general drink energy drinks and coffee?
They're good.
To give you a boost.
Give you energy and give
To
you a
wake up.
boost because you're tired, because you're sleepy,
It tastes good.
and they taste good. Okay,
The
I'm now I haven't had any of the new energy drinks. When I was growing up, there was a product called Jolt Cola. So I think they brought Jolt back a while back, but I don't think it competes with Monster and some of those things. But if you're drinking energy drinks because you're tired, you're addressing the problem. You're addressing the symptoms, not the problem. And the problem is you're not getting enough sleep. So rather than drinking caffeine, going for the energy drinks that have all the stimulants and things in them, it's much better to address the root of the problem and get more sleep. Okay, I know that's an issue here because you guys are busy, schoolwork, sports, all those kind of things, but really try and get as much sleep as you can. Who takes their cell phones to bed?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Not me.
Okay?
It's right under my pillow.
Exactly. Leave your cell phones in the other room. Seriously, you don't need your cell phone in bed.
I tried this yesterday.
Yeah.
Like
and
I was trying to do homework and I turned it off because if I don't turn it off, I'm always on Twitter
and
Me too.
and I don't get any work done.
and how'd it go turning your cell phone off?
Oh, I finished it. I finished
Oh my
everything.
gosh, you finished your homework. Say it's,
I felt
amazing.
proud.
Exactly. Here, I'm going to give you a hand. There you go. Seriously, having your cell phones with you in bed. You know, I have a client who sits there and I was asking her about her sleep, and she doesn't sleep very well, and it turns out she texts until she falls asleep. Well, part of the problem is the lights on your phone are the lights that it emits is this blue light, which stimulates your brain. So when you do fall asleep, it's not a sound sleep. It's harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep well when you've been recently exposed to screens, and that's TV, phones, iPads. All those kind of screens interfere with your ability to sleep and sleep well. So if you can get away from that as soon as possible before you go to bed, you know, they say sleep doctors will actually say like 2 hours before you go to bed. Well, that's really hard to do. But, you know, when you go to bed, you can turn your phone off, set it silent, whatever, leave it in the other room. It's okay. You may have to start a support system or something to do this, but you really need to be sleeping better, sleeping more and sleeping better. Part of the reason for that is getting more sleep is associated with maintaining your weight better. So people who sleep less also tend to weigh more. So getting good sleep, getting more sleep can help with your weight. But also sleep helps you grow. And for people who are athletes, it helps them heal and repair from their workouts, because when you sleep is when the growth hormone and all of those hormones get released that help you repair and helps your body adapt to all the workouts that you're making it do. So sleep is really important. If you're doing energy drinks, if you're doing coffee to stay awake, focus on getting some sleep rather than doing the energy drinks and coffee. One of the problems with the energy drinks, again, is that they've got stimulants and all sorts of crazy things in them that we don't necessarily know how they're going to affect kids. And there was an instance, what was it, earlier this year, that a girl died after she did a couple of, I forget which energy drink it was. Also, if you're on medications, they can also interact with some of the ingredients that are in those energy drinks. And that's one of the things that I check when clients come in and they're taking a lot of those, is I'll go through the list of ingredients and check and see, can it interfere with some of their meds? And it actually can. So, you know, you really need to be aware of what you're putting in your body and how it can affect all those different things. So long answer to a long answer, but the short thing is I am not a fan of energy drinks or kids drinking coffee if they're doing it to stay awake.
So then I think I have two questions. One is, my wife has a Kindle that she'll typically read before bed. Do you think does that screen? Because I use like a tablet to read through the Kindle app, and so maybe that's keeping me up a little bit longer.
I think the Kindles and the things that are the e-ink are better than like the iPads, because the iPad, it's that backlighting, or the tablet, it's the backlighting that causes that to happen. And I actually have an iPad and a Kindle, and I prefer to read on my Kindle before I go to sleep because it's easier on my eyes, and I seem to be able to settle down a lot faster.
All right, so maybe I have to go old-fashioned, just plain
How
books.
about a book?
Or read a book.
Well, I do that, but whenever like you can get all these free ones on the Kindle,
Yeah.
and so I can't just get them free, or I'd have to go to the library, or I'd have to borrow them. So my wife downloads them onto the tablet, so I just read them on there. But now I'm gonna have to start either stealing her Kindle or getting an actual book.
Well, maybe you could ask for a Kindle for Christmas.
Maybe I could.
And they've got, if you can get a refurbed Kindle actually really cheap, and it still has the warranty and stuff on it.
We might need to do that for my wife, because I have a 2-year-old at home, and he decided to play with the cover that we had for the Kindle, and he broke off the little pegs inside of it, and it still works, but now the light and the case don't fit on it anymore. So,
Oh.
but he's
Hey, at
2
least
years
he
old.
didn't put it in the washing machine or the dishwasher.
Yes, at least.
Yet there's still time.
Yeah, there's still lots of time, and he has a 3-month-old little brother that I'm sure that the two of them will destroy plenty of things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then my other question about the energy drinks would be, they see the 5-hour energy thing people take before a game. What are some of your thoughts specifically on like pre-game energy drink type? Maybe not because they're sleepy, but they want to get jacked up or
Yeah,
get hyped up.
have that additional pump. So having doing an energy drink or maybe a 5-hour energy or something like that. If you're going into a game, actually, I'm more okay with that. If they're actually going to play, if they're sitting on the bench, they don't need it. But if they're going to be playing, then yeah, having that additional pump, make
Hey,
them.
wait, are you going to be playing? All right, you can't have any, but you're going to play. Okay,
You're
you
going
can.
to play, you can do it. Some of my professional players will do that. Some of the folks that I know who do triathlons will do an energy drink before they get in the water because they need that pop. And then what I'll also do is time caffeine intake to a certain point in a bike or at a certain point in a run where you start getting an energy lag. You can pop some caffeine, take a gel or take some gel blocks or something, even some defizzed soda that's got caffeine in it. And it's like, man, it's an instant hit of energy and alertness. So, yeah, I'm more okay with doing it before a game or before something like that than I am just on a regular daily basis.
Okay. All right, so what about if high school kids like the taste of coffee? Like I hate coffee. I don't like the way it smells, but my wife enjoys coffee. So what if they just want to drink coffee in general? It's not necessarily like for energy, but just because they like coffee.
You like the flavor, you like the iced coffee, you like all the iced mocha, whatever,
Frappuccino, latte.
frappuccinos, all those things. Then get it decaf. Just about any of them you can get decaf, or you can do half and half. That's what I do in the mornings is just half and half regular and half decaf, so that way you don't get the full hit of the caffeine on there. So that's what you can do is just order it half and half, or
So
decaf.
Decaf or half and half.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no inherent problem with drinking coffee
Not really, no.
besides maybe extra calories that they come with all the flavored stuff. And
It's amazing if you are gonna do that. Go to a Starbucks or wherever and get your venti half calf or whatever latte mochaccino with extra whip or they have an app, or you can go out to their website and look at the nutrition information, and you may be really surprised at how many calories are in those drinks because they can pack a huge punch, a lot more than you think that they do. So if you're kind of trying to watch your shape a little bit, that's one place to look and see how many calories you're drinking.
I've taken the Dave Ramsey course, and that's another one of the things he talks about is if you're trying to financially get in shape, watch your budget, then Starbucks or that type of thing is another thing to drop. So I'm just wondering why are we so addicted to
Or
the
Cokes, like sodas.
Sodas.
I drink, like, not too long ago, I drank like 5 sodas a day, which is, yeah.
That's
I
a
don't know.
lot.
But now you've stopped?
It's because, yeah, I've stopped a little, and now it's like 1 a day or something. But it's because my mom, she puts the sodas like straight up in the refrigerator, like where you can see it. And the waters are in the back. Like, you can't see them.
So you have to reach past the Coke to get the
No,
water.
like, she doesn't put them in the fridge. She leaves them, like, in the cabinets or stuff. So it's like the fridge, you open it, and the first thing you see, it's a soda.
Like, oh, okay, that'll work.
And, yeah, it's like, I'm too lazy to get the water. But I've tried to stop.
I stopped
No-
drinking sodas.
No sodas?
The only thing
Coke either.
the only thing I'll drink is Sprite or 7-Up.
That's good.
Yeah.
The-
So you're getting away from the caffeine there.
Or the, the flavored water, like the things you add to the water to make it
Mhm.
flavored.
Crystal
Mhm.
Light.
Yeah, the Crystal Light.
Yep.
That's what I drink.
I've actually gotten to where I like. Have you seen the Mios? Rather than the
Oh,
Crystal Light, the little silver thing,
Yeah.
because it's liquid, and since it's not in a pre-done packet, you can control the strength of the flavor. So you can put more in there to make it stronger or less in there to make it weaker. Because I know for me, if I put a whole Crystal Light packet in my water bottle, it's way too strong.
I get
And so
headaches.
either then I end up throwing it away, or I end up leaving it, trying to fold it up and leave it in my purse, and then it opens in my purse, and my purse is a mess, you know. So the Mios are great because you can really control the strength of the flavor with how much you put in there. And they've got a bunch of flavors.
All right. All right, so that'll work there. I think Daisy will probably be our last question, and we're not going to get to all of them, so it looks like we're going to have to come up with some more questions and to finish these out and have Dr. Wilson back sometime. And I was talking to her, maybe we'll have her back right after Christmas when everybody's making their New Year's resolutions and how to eat healthy and stuff like that. But I think, Daisy, why don't you finish us out with the questions, and then I'll close us off.
What are your thoughts on Whole Foods?
Oh, no, that's...
Oh, wait.
No.
Alcohol?
Yeah, we're at the thoughts on...
Alcohol.
What are your thoughts on alcohol and working out?
Well, you know.
I mean,
the-
I actually
the
wrote this
first
question,
thing-
and
Well, the first
one of-
thing, go ahead.
one of the things I remember hearing at some point is, like after a professional basketball player goes and plays a game, it's good for him to drink a beer because of the carbs are good for replenishing stuff like that. And so they said like a beer and a banana because that's good for them to replace the electrolytes and stuff that they've lost. And so that's kind of the reason I wanted that question, and then also, you know, just in general.
In general. Actually, post-game alcohol consumption seems to be a heck of a lot worse among baseball players. So, but alcohol and working out, not a really good mix. One of the things is alcohol is a toxin in your body. It treats it like a toxin. So your body gets really busy processing it and getting it out of the system. So it really, and then whatever else you're eating or drinking with it kind of goes on the back burner, tends to get stored while your body's dealing with the calories from the alcohol. Alcohol is a pretty calorie dense food, beverage, whatever you want to call it. Carbs and protein each have 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram, but alcohol has 7. So alcohol is a pretty calorie dense thing too. So alcohol also messes with your blood sugar and can cause your blood sugar to spike. So that's not good either. There's a lot of research showing that alcohol is detrimental to your workouts and also doesn't allow you to recover as well from your workouts. I got a lot of heat one day when I posted on my Facebook and my Twitter that alcohol is not an appropriate recovery drink after a race, and a lot of adults who were over 21 posted back that, you know, it was the thought of having that beer when they crossed the finish line that kept them going. And so I said, okay, as long as you have your recovery drink, you can have your beer, but, you know, you are putting a toxin in your body. It is going to interfere with how your body recovers and adapts. And then it also, you know, if you're taking in the alcohol, you tend not to take in quality calories either that'll help you recover and get ready for your next game or your next workout.
All right, so I'm going to actually take that line, and that'll be my words of wisdom, but I'm going to go ahead and close it out here because, again, we're going to let the kids go. So, Claudia, you are red, so you're doc. So we're going to go down to the people who support us. Can you go down there? Right there, yeah. Can you get all that?
Of course, we have to mention the people who support us, which is Pasadena ISD Education Foundation, grants with our sports medicine course, and for this podcast equipment, and Memorial Hermann for our guests and general support for sports medicine.
Of course, Dr. Wilson works for the Memorial Hermann Ironman Sports Medicine Institute. So it was through that where I kind of got hooked up with her, and you know, I saw her at the Memorial Hermann conferences that I went to over the summer, and so then I met and talked with her there. But in general, Memorial Hermann is doing a great job, and what they're doing with the Sports Medicine Ironman Institute is really cool. So I want to thank them. And so my trainer tip or words of wisdom is alcohol is a toxin. Alcohol is a toxin. So it is bad for you just in general to take the alcohol if you're trying to perform. If you're trying to eat for performance, that alcohol is a toxin that your body has to try and get rid of instead of repairing or building yourself up. So if you want to contact us, Dr. Wilson, anything else you would like to throw out there?
Well, something fun kind of coming up is the Ironman World Championships are in Kona next Saturday, Kona, Hawaii next Saturday. I'm heading out to Hawaii on Monday to do some work for Chocolate Milk out there.
Oh, shucks.
So I'll be, yeah, I know. So I'll be tweeting and Facebooking if you guys want to see what's going on with that over the next week. And again, it's eat the number 4 performance is my Twitter hashtag or my Twitter handle. And I'm also on Facebook as well, and the Sports Medicine Institute Facebook and stuff will be picking that up too. But that's going to be a really fun thing going on next week.
All right, so very cool. So you guys, you can try to be like Dr. Wilson, be registered dietitians, and you can get to go to Hawaii on the corporate tab and drink chocolate milk.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Chocolate milk is good for you.
Are you going to take your dog?
I wish I could, but I can't.
That's it. We're calling Channel 13.
I
She's not really
know.
a dog traveler. Okay. All right. So definitely check out Dr. Wilson if you have any questions about nutrition. Eat the number 4 performance. And then I'm going to post that up on our website, which is www.pasadenaisd.org/PHS/athletic training. And on there are the links for the Ustream for the Justin TV where we did the live stream. We had 2 viewers in the live stream. And then the todaysmeet.com/sports medicine broadcast is where you can join the conversation or look at some of the comments that have been made.
And follow us on Twitter at PHS Sports Medicine, on Google Plus
PHS Sports Med.
Sports Med.
Yeah.
Sorry. Google Plus PHS Athletic Training. Facebook us on PHS Athletic Training, or the office phone is 713-740-0310 extension 01312.
And if you'd like to download the app, I'm not sure how much I'm going to be updating it. I think they said I can't change it now since I'm not a paying customer, but it's there on Android. You can check that out. So if PHS Athletic Training, the app there. For Jeremy,
Claudia.
Suzette,
Dr. Penny Wilson.
Monica.
Daisy,
Karen.
Kaylin.
and the rest of the sports medicine class and the people that aren't here, that's a wrap. All right, if you will, make sure you be careful stepping over that cord. Yes, stop that. Make sure you tell Dr. Wilson thanks. If you have any other final questions for us, or go ahead and find her on Twitter. Yeah. So,
Can we go to 11:10?
So like after we work out, like what's like the best thing to eat?
well, what do you
Oh, you don't like chocolate milk? Then have like, oh, you're welcome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in January after Christmas. Thanks. I did believe that. Look, does that work?
But that's kind of what you're supposed to do. Just kind of comment in there, and then if there's something to question.
I know I was panicking because you didn't tell me anything.
I know it was the last minute switch.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah, that was a good one. So again, hopefully, I'll look at the deal